All right, shalom, and welcome to another Bible study that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in this body of Yahshua. My name is Esaac ben Israel, and I'm the elder priest of the United Congregation of Israel. And I'm joined here with Priest Kish, the under priest. Shalom, my brother.
Shalom.
All right. So, first off, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, we're hearing that YouTube was having some kind of difficulties. So you may want to jump over to our website at theuci.org, and you can watch the broadcast from there. And you may want to keep that locked in just in case as we get closer and closer to the redemption of the children of Israel. A whole lot of these things that we have readily available, all of a sudden there's going to be difficulties getting to them. And that will be on purpose. That will not just be something that happened. So we need to start considering some of that. And one of the first things says, first off, I'm pleased that I found you through YouTube years ago and feel like I've really grown and put away a lot of bad habits. And here we go right back to YouTube. And what you guys have to consider, in a lot of these places where they have social unrest, in those countries, they shut down social media. I mean, absolutely shut it down, because they are aware that this is how the people are getting their information. This is how the people are gathering together to fight against the things that they believe they're being oppressed by. So one of the strong points that they say that they're going to take away is the social media. Now you have to also consider some things. They claim that this I'm gonna say it what I call it when I'm talking to my kids. They said Tic Tac was so bad. They were going to shut down Tic Tac. But lo and behold, they said somebody had to buy Tic Tac because it needed an American person. The person just so happened to be the biggest donor to this other place who is kind of murdering and taking land. So now that biggest part that everybody uses to communicate is now owned by one of the biggest supporters of the occupiers. Then you add the other big social media business is also owned by one of those individuals. So if you are not paying attention, you're seeing that eventually all of the media is going to be controlled by the same entities. And if you go down, you're going to find that if there's not ownership, there's enough representation that eventually your programs get buried on purpose, which is why some people don't have 1 million views, because they decided they're not going to buy them. And the powers that be make sure that their videos or their information does not come up in those searches. So this is something that the powers that be can do. So we need to start considering that, because a lot of us, we don't just use social media for information. Some of us using it for our second life. It's like a mirror to us. Like some people got a regular mirror. They get in the mirror and they say, you know what, I need to fix this part on my hair. Other people get on social media to see, should I fix my hair? You got a mirror for that. Well, why do you have to post everything about your entire life? You know what, I ate 2 pieces of chicken today. So when they shut this down, it's not going to be a situation where people are just going to be without information. There are going to be some people who feel like they just lost their best buddy, their best pal. Because when no one else answers your call, you know, TikTok and InstaChat is right there. You can just roll over 3 a.m. and say, I want to talk to the chat. And so we need to start preparing for that. So this says, I found you guys on YouTube years ago, and I was wondering, with fringes, is this considered a law in the Old Testament? To my understanding, they are warned to help us remember to keep the law. But I need to be absolutely sure I'm not breaking a commandment by not wearing them. I am afraid of offending my Elohim in any way possible, which is a honorable thing. So let's go to Numbers chapter 15. Numbers chapter 15, and let's start that at verse 37.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of Yahweh, and do them, and that you seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you used to go a-whoring.
Right. Now, we're back in a situation where we're doing the same things that we came out of Egypt. He said, you need these things to remember to keep the law. Okay? And the children of Israel had grown very accustomed to doing the things in Egypt. So it got to the point where this is what they wanted to do. And whenever you do something so long that it becomes a habit, that now it takes over without you thinking about it. Like nobody has to think to say, you know what, I need to breathe. You know what, I need to put the left foot in front of the right foot and then do it again. No. After doing it so long, it just goes into autopilot and it happens. So the adversary understands this. So the adversary wants to get us to take on these other habits. So they teach us things that we might think is cool. They teach us things that seem like they're okay. But what's happening is they're getting us accustomed to it so that eventually, even once we hear that it's wrong, we will have a problem stopping it because we are so used to it. Go ahead. Did you finish that?
Verse 40.
Okay.
That you may remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto your Elohim. I am Yahweh your Elohim, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, to be your Elohim. I am Yahweh your Elohim.
All right. So it is for the purpose of you remembering the law. And understand, this was given unto our forefathers coming out of this captivity. So let's go now to Deuteronomy chapter 30. And start that at verse 1.
And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon you, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before you, and you shall call them to mind among all the nations, whether Yahweh your Elohim has driven you.
So Yahweh is already understood. It's a known fact. The children of Israel are not going to follow. You can put the fringe on the garments. You can put them on your hands. You can put them on your ears. You can wear them like earrings. Put them on your lips. Put the fringes on your lips so you know that you ought to speak the law. I mean, put them everywhere. But he already said with that, when I spread you, not if. When, because you don't listen. So it's already a known thing that this is going to happen. He's saying when. Well, they had the fringes on there, didn't they? He just told them about the fringes. And after he said, put the fringe on. Now, when I whoop you and I spread you, wait a minute. But if I have the fringe on, didn't the fringe protect me from that? And you have a lot of, depending on which people you listen to among the internet, you have people that they swear by the fringe. I mean, I seen an individual that had a fringe car. They had fringes all the way around the car. The car was just, it looked like it was about to take off and go in the air. It was ridiculous. This cat had some fringe glasses because he didn't want to see nothing that wasn't within the law. So he had the fringes on his glasses, and I'm trying to figure out how the hell is he seeing, anything. But this is that. And then you see these other individuals, they have fringe belts. All right, there's a fringe belt. At first I said, man, how do they have the fringes on everything? Well, a little boy walked up to me, man. It was, they do the, who was that, the football player did the discount double check, and he did it. Little boy hit me. Little boy hit me with the discount double check. He had the fringe belt. I said, "What, little man, you got on fringes?" He lifted up his shirt. Wow! Hit me with the discount double check. He had a belt on that went all the way across. That had the fringes, so he had to worry about whether or not he had it on the shirt. Just put on his discount double check belt, and he had the fringe there. I said, "Well, go on, little boy. Your folks are serious about the fringe." Okay. Did you have some, brother? Now, our people were serious about this too, but you also see they got cast out of the land. So make sure we understand that. Go ahead, bro.
So is it fair to say that the fringes could be a form of idolatry? Because this guy at my job, he was like, well, if you're a Hebrew, well, where your fringes at? And I said, see, that's the issue with it, because now everyone's looking for that, and then they're going to be expecting things. So that's what I told him. Is it fair to say that?
Most definitely. Remember, Yahweh told them to build the brazen serpent. Then they started worshiping the brazen serpent. So what he had to do? He had to tear it down. The same thing that he told them to build. He said, because y'all not doing right, whenever you get off into something and make the brazen serpent, you look in the eye of the brazen serpent. And what was his purpose of making the brazen serpent? Maybe he was trying to tell them, y'all acting like snakes. So look at the snake. I want you to look at yourself. I don't know what his purpose was, but eventually they started worshiping it. Then he had to tear it down. They even gave it a name. Yahweh didn't name it. They gave it a name and started worshiping it. So the same thing that he set up for their forgiveness, they ended up worshiping it, and he had to tear it down. Go ahead.
The brother said that if you're a Hebrew, where's your fringes? Were they not Hebrew Israelites before Yahweh gave them that commandment?
Right. But see, we still keep forgetting or not understanding the part where it is to remind you to keep the law. And when you do something over and over, you don't have to keep reminding yourself. So you got to remind yourself when you playing, hokey pokey. You got one foot in, you got one foot out, and you don't know which one you gonna shake all about. So you need the friends to remember you. No, Hope, don't poke them. Now you need the law to tell you that. Cause see, Hope don't know what to poke. So then he need that law. He need that fringe to tell him this ain't your house. You know what? It ain't my house. Somebody who walking in the law, they don't need no reminder that's not your house. That's not your car. That's not your spouse. They don't need no fringe to tell them that. But if you need a fringe to tell you that, by all means, wear the fringe. Whatever keeps you from going out there, then go ahead and do it. You're not in sin if you do. You're not in sin if you don't. But if you break them commandments, that's what got you. And we so busy worrying about the fringe, and because this is what was pushed on us. Because I encountered those same individuals too. Wear your fringe, wear your fringe. And it's funny. The individuals who push the fringe will not wear a head covering. Now, the funny part about it, within this law, you cannot approach unto Yahweh with your head uncovered. they get the fringe from the Old Testament. All right? Then they get the non-head covering from the New Testament. But we were given instructions how to approach unto our Elohim. You can't approach unto your Elohim any old kind of way. And most of these individuals who push this, you're going to see that they're in full get up. I mean, they got the samurai outfit all the way down, got the sword in the back, everything, but no head cover. Now, why you got on that full outfit with no head cover? You can't approach unto your Elohim like that. You mean tell me you read the law to wear fringes, but you didn't read the law that your head's supposed to be covered before you approach unto your Elohim? Now all of a sudden we don't know whether or not we're a man or a priest. Yahweh said the children of Israel are going to be a kingdom of priests. Not a tribe of priests. We already had a tribe of priests. And we already saw the priesthood growing. It started with Levi and then moved. Now Judah was in it. Well, that's already a growth in the priesthood. But why do we think they have 144,000, 12,000 from each tribe? No, that priesthood expands throughout Israel. That's the thing that we're not considering. Go ahead, brother, back to Deuteronomy 30.
Verse 2. And shall return unto Yahweh your Elohim, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command you this day, you and your children, with all your heart and with all your soul.
Now, with all your heart and all your soul. So now we're getting down to what he intends for the children of Israel. But to get all your heart and all your soul, that's pretty deep. Go ahead.
That then Yahweh your Elohim will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you, and return and gather you from all the nations where the Yahweh your Elohim had scattered you.
So when you return unto Yahweh with your whole heart, then he will turn your captivity. So then it is in the best interest of our captors to make sure that we don't understand this law. It is in the best interest of our captors to make sure that we walk around all enveloped in prosperity, that we out howling at the moon, that we out doing chakra, that we out casting spells, that we out going to every little party that we don't know is a worship practice to another god. Why? Because this is going to keep us from being able to deal with him. Go ahead.
If any of yours be driven out onto the utmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh your Elohim gather you, and from thence will he fetch you. And Yahweh your Elohim will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it. And he will do you good, and multiply you above your fathers. And Yahweh your Elohim will circumcise your heart, and the heart of your seed, to love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your soul, that you mayest live. And Yahweh your Elohim will put all these curses upon your enemies, and on them that hate you, which persecuted you. And you shall return and obey the voice of Yahweh, and do all his commandments which I command you this day. And Yahweh your Elohim will make you plenteous in every work of your hand, in the fruit of your body, and in the fruit of your cattle, and in the fruit of your land, for good. For Yahweh will again rejoice over you for good, as he rejoiced over your fathers.
Mm-hmm.
If you shall hearken unto the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law, and if you turn unto Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul.
Now, with all your heart and with all your soul keeps coming up and keeps coming out unto the children of Israel. Now, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 31. Jeremiah 31, and let's start at verse 31. Now, every Sunday going church person believes that they are under the new covenant. They'll tell you in a minute that 98% of them don't know the difference between the New Testament and the new covenant. They said, well, it's new. So they said, well, the new covenant, they figured they under the new covenant because they read the New Testament. So then they said New Covenant, New Testament. We a part of the New Covenant. So they do that by reading the New Testament, and they said that's what it is. So start at verse 31.
Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I'll make a new covenant with the house of Israel.
The first thing we have to find out is who he making the covenant with. Now, everybody claim they're a part of the new covenant. Wait a minute. But we don't want to deal with who he making the covenant with. Go ahead.
And with the house of Yehudah.
Uh-huh.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt.
Stop. So this covenant is not that covenant. Wait a minute. He says, I'm going to make a new covenant. I already made one before with everything, with all the rights thereof. That includes the fringes. That includes the animal sacrifice. Because you needed all of those things. Wait a minute. He's dealing on another level because he wants that to be in here. See, there's a difference between somebody making you do something and you having a heart to do it. Sometimes when you make somebody do something, yeah, you get it, but it ain't right. You say, all right, now y'all was over here arguing. Y'all apologize to each other. Yeah, what up, man? Yeah, I'm whatever that is. What's the word? I can't think of the word. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. Wow, didn't even know the word. So it don't come out quite right because it ain't in here. It ain't what we want to do. It's because somebody told us to do it. You think Yahweh don't know the difference? Go ahead.
Which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, says Yahweh. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, says Yahweh, I'll put my law in their inward parts.
Wait a minute. If the law's in your inward parts, do I need the law hanging on my shirt? Shouldn't the law be on what's inside my shirt? Why I need the law on my shirt? Go ahead.
You're going to do it like the scroll. You're going to eat the fringe.
Hey, I don't know what we thinking, but you know what? What helps us get into that place? Because we see all the pomp and circumstance that other people do. You know, you mentioned the scroll. I mean, look at all of the pomp and circumstance that these people who's supposed to be somebody, they get gifted a scroll in some grand ceremony. Remember now, you know, Eddie Long was given a big scroll in the church where they carried him around and proclaimed him king or something, you know. Never mind all them little boys that was out there in the parking lot or in the pews looking strange, but he was gifted a scroll and carried all around and proclaimed to be somebody. So now we want these outward parts. Yahweh looking totally different. What did Samuel say when they got ready to go and find the next king? He says, that's not he. He said, that's not he either. Look, I don't look at men the way you look at men. This is what was told Yahweh's prophet. He said the prophet was even looking wrong. He looked at them, raised man, look at that now. That's a big warrior looking brother right there. Look at that. Surely this is your next king. Yahweh like, no, it ain't. That ain't my king. I don't see men the way you do. So what tickles our fancy don't mean jack to Yahweh. He looking in here. Go ahead.
And write it in their hearts, and I'll be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, says Yahweh. For I'll forgive their lawlessness, and I'll remember their sin no more. Thus says Yahweh, which gives the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divides the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahweh of hosts is his name, If those ordinances depart from before me, says Yahweh, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
Now, wait a minute. Now, put this together. If those ordinances can depart, what ordinance? He says, to give the sun for a light by day, the ordinance of the moon and the stars for a light by night, which divide the sea when the waves thereof. What you think they keep messing with? They trying to change all the ordinances. You can barely see the sun with their creepy clouds, and somebody posted that is very interesting, that since the government shut down, all of a sudden you can see the sun. All of a sudden it's been 80 degrees for the whole shutdown. There ain't been no creepy clouds. Isn't that interesting? And that's peculiar. But they're in the process of trying to take all of those ordinances. The sun, the moon. Now also, think about it. When it gets to be time for the redemption of the children of Israel, those ordinances are going to be disrupted too. Sun going to change, moon going to change, all kind of perplexing things in the sky. Now, is that the adversary trying to kill off Israel? Because all they need to do is make Yahweh a lie any way he can. Okay. Go ahead. Did you finish that?
Verse 37. Thus says Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundation of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, says Yahweh. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that the city shall be built to Yahweh from the tower of Hananeel unto the gate of the corner. And the measuring line shall yet go forth over against it upon the hill Gereb, and shall compass about to Goath, and the whole valley of the dead bodies and of the ashes, and all the fields unto the brook of Kidron, unto the corner of the horse gate toward the east, shall be holy unto Yahweh. It shall not be plucked up, nor thrown down any more forever.
Now, wait a minute. Now you hear everybody talking about, God is love. Now, he's talking about this new covenant. And right in there, he said the whole valley of dead bodies. This is not what we want to deal with. Because people have separated the keeping of Yahweh's law with righteousness. But understand, these dead bodies have a purpose. See, if blood has to be shed to make an atonement for sin, these man beasts have to shed their blood so that the earth can be cleansed. So we have to ask ourselves, what part or what role are you going to play in cleansing the earth? Are you going to be one who's going to walk on a cleansed earth? Or are you going to be one who must have their blood shed so that somebody else can walk on a cleansed earth? You're going to play one of those roles. You're auditioning for a part. Somebody got to play Judas. I don't care how much everybody, some people want to be Yahshua's superstar. Look, you can't play that role. That role taken. I audition for something else. Somebody got to play Judas. Somebody got to bleed so that the earth is restored. And how the powers that be get out of that, they want to go off into heaven and go to a paradise. We don't want to clean the paradise that was given unto us. See, we think these cities are the paradise. That's what man built. So much, in fact, that we can barely even see what Yahweh built because we are so caught up in the rat race and all we see is the concrete structures that man has placed. So we don't even consider that this was man's paradise. This is man's paradise. So instead of giving you another one or sending you somewhere else for you to tear up, how about you fix the one that I gave you? That's what we don't want to deal with. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 8, because everything that I just read, to those people who believe that they're in the new covenant because they read the New Testament, they don't believe in it. Everything I said was just practice to them. Matter of fact, they went to go get a sandwich right at that point. They was like, They ain't listening to that. They just completely checked out, even if they just passing through. They don't believe any of that. So Hebrews chapter 8 and start at verse 1.
Now the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have such an high priest.
Stop. Why do we have a high priest? If the priesthood is done away with, how can we have a high priest? So there's some things that we just don't want to deal with. That means the priesthood is definitely doing what it's supposed to do. Because we not only have a priesthood, but we have a high priest. Go ahead.
Who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens, and minister of the sanctuary, and of the true tabernacle, which the Adonai pitched, and not man. For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices. Wherefore, if it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law.
That there are priests. Go ahead.
Who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moshe was admonished of Elohim when he was about to make the tabernacle. For, see, says he, that you make all things according to the pattern showed to you in the mount. But now has he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he says, behold, the days come, says the Adonai, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehudah.
Right. Now, to those who only read the back part of the book, this is the only part where they see the new covenant. This is where they believe it originates. Because they make everything else null and void before that, anything that's in the Old Testament. Go ahead.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, says the Adonai.
Now, understand, we like certain words, and what happens when people say them and they romanticize, the tone and whatnot and the delivery. But this covenant is an agreement. But what were the dictates of the covenant? The law. What was the covenant? So we like to say certain things, but we want to separate the law from it. But if you need to have on your ring to know you married, hey, let me tell you something. I don't care how many diamonds you put in there. That ain't gonna save you. If you need to have the ring on, and you need to keep looking at it, there's a problem. Go ahead.
For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. Says Yahweh.
Will. Now, wait a minute. We're in the New Testament, and he's still saying will. Yet these people say, we under the new covenant. They ain't kept now law. Don't even know when the Sabbath is. But they say they under the new covenant right now. We in the New Testament, and he says, I will. They say they already under it. Go ahead.
I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts.
Wait a minute, here we go. He didn't say, look here, they're gonna be up under this new covenant, and I'm gonna put fringes on their garments. Because if it's in your heart, then you are pushing for that. And when you do slide, it hurts you. That you want to fix that. Because you want to strengthen the covenant between you and your Elohim. Go ahead.
Well, Elder, the same people who are saying that we're under the new covenant are the same people that are saying the law has been done away with. So there's no law written in your heart.
It is absolutely amazing. But what they've done is they've traded that law and made their own law. So now they've made it into a law that doesn't have to have order. So they can have a law of niceness. See, got a law of treating people good. Wait a minute. No, wait. My Elohim already covered that. But if you can turn it into something like that, then you can jump in and out of it. So they say the law is nailed to the cross. But the first time they catch somebody with their spouse, you start hearing gunfire. What the problem is? I thought the law was nailed. Why didn't you let them come on in there? You asked, are y'all finished? Why you ask? What you get mad for? Ain't no law. When somebody steal your stuff, why do you get angry? So the same individuals who say the law is nailed to the cross pack the courtrooms. Why y'all in here? Why y'all in here? And then be in the courtroom with a cross on. Wait a minute. I thought the law was nailed to the cross. But you are in here trying to, you said throw the book at him. What book? So we jump in and out of the law as it suits our particular situation. Now, don't get it misconstrued. I'm not saying that we are held to do everything in the Old Testament. That's what Yahshua was for. We have a perfect sacrifice. So you don't see us around here stringing up goats. But we understand what that means because we believe in Yahshua. But on the flip side, we have people who do not believe in a Christ. And people still walking around calling them the holy people. And we ain't seen no sacrifice at all. So you don't believe in Christ and you don't do sacrifice. What do you believe in? Go ahead.
And I'll be to them a Elohim, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Adonai, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. For I'll be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their lawlessness will I remember no more. In that he says, a new covenant. He has made the first old, now that which decays and wax old is ready to vanish away.
All right. Okay, and let's get to another question. It says, when it comes to being a genuine priest of Yahweh, how do we study in order to obtain information? I generally have a sharp memory, but I feel I need to do more years to study the Old Testament alone. Plus, books like Isaiah are not easy to decipher. I believe I will always need a teacher, and if I studied 20 years, I'd still feel like I know nothing. All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 13. Matthew chapter 13. I want you to read verses 51 and 52.
Yahshua says unto them, have you understood all these things? They say unto him, yes, Adonai. Then said he unto them, therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which brings forth out of his treasure things new and old.
All right, so our thing here, therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven. So we do understand that there's going to be some instruction, but what we have to deal with is where that instruction is going to come from. So there was a foundation laid right there dealing with those disciples. And then it flowed from there. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 12. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, and start that at verse 1.
Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. You know that you were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. Wherefore I gave you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of Elohim calls Yahshua accursed, and that no man can say that Yahshua is the Adonai, but by the Holy Spirit. Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are difference of administrations, but the same Adonai. And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same Elohim which works all in all.
All right, so then you have the Spirit that then guides in what it needs the children of Israel, or what it needs for the people to have. Go ahead.
But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit.
All right, so it says study to show yourself approved. But when the Spirit starts helping you, your study does something different. Because this book is humongous. Man, you can't read this whole book and say, you know what, I'm going to be prepared for every question at any time my whole life. Now, when the Spirit help you, the Spirit will direct you the night before. Hey, read this. And you're like, oh, you know why I ended up in Joshua. And then something happened, and then the next day, that's why I was in Joshua last night. See, all you need to know is what's coming up next. You don't need to know the stuff for 10 years from now. But this is what the Spirit is for. The Spirit will then direct us, and we don't even understand why that's happening. Go ahead.
To another the faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits.
Look at that, to another prophecy. So when the Spirit starts working with you, it will allow you to understand what it needs for you to deal with. A lot of times we want to understand just so we can say, you know what, I understand. But then who profits from that? So if he gives you something and you have it, it's like if all the food go to one person, but everybody else hungry. How does the nation benefit from that? So we're seeing how this Spirit divides these spiritual gifts. This is where we depend on individuals to do the job that the Spirit has given them. See, the person with the gift of prophecy can't be jumping over and say, you know what, I'm going to heal this individual. Yeah, but that's not what you do. You don't have that gift. Go ahead.
To another diverse kinds of languages, to another the interpretation of languages.
And you see that those were separated too. So that when those people who claimed that they were speaking in tongues, it should have been somebody else interpreting what they were saying. I ain't heard the people, anybody, translate that goo gobbledygoo that they be screaming, saying that they speaking to God. And then they got classes on speaking in tongues. How you have a class on something, but you don't say what it is? If you have a class on something, like if you go to Spanish class, and the people tell you, como se llama? Well, somebody knew what como se llama meant. You can't just say it and not understand what it is. So this is the worst class ever. So you go to a class to learn how to speak in tongues, but you didn't understand what you were saying? What kind of class is that? Go ahead, brother.
See, that's the thing that, because I was speaking with Lael the other day. That's the thing about people with that they want these gifts because it glorifies themselves. It's saying like he want to speak in them tongues because he want to feel like, oh well, I know all this stuff and y'all don't, so I'm better than y'all. Where these gifts are given so we could be servants to everybody else.
Most definitely. But let me tell you, in the age of Insta chat, and TikTok, we ain't on there with everybody else. That's just us. And see, this stuff keeps pushing. Everything that we have keeps pushing individuality. And then this is how the adversary gets us. It gets to the point where he moves us off the unit and gets us to thinking about ourselves. When you talk about Adam and Eve, you know, there's a point where, hey, this is good to eat. She was convinced. Now there's no more of the unit. It's, I will do this. And then once that move happens, now what happens with us? I don't want to be left alone. You just got superpowers? You mean tell me you can leap a tall building? You can stop, you know, if you fasten a locomotive, you can stop a bullet? Give me the fruit too. You ain't going to be the only, you just going to be Superwoman and I'm going to be a regular old man? Okay. We had the same problem. Once they present these things unto us, then we want them, even if they're not real. Now we're chasing a mirage of something that we thought was real. So they know what they're doing. Go ahead.
But all these works that one and self same Spirit, dividing to every man severally as he will. Whereas the body is one and has many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body. So also is Yahshua. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Yehudims or Gentiles.
Now, one of the things that we also have to deal with when it's talking about being baptized, you're baptized unto his death. It says he that believes and is baptized. So the baptism at first was a baptism about repentance of sin. Then you came with Yahshua's baptism. Now the baptism took another level. Now it has remission of sins plus the gift of the Holy Spirit. So a lot of times we're working, but we haven't gotten the baptism correctly in the name of Yahshua. So the work that we're doing is from a little bit of borrowed spirit. We don't completely have our own yet, because we haven't made that step. See, in any organization, you have to cross a certain line to get the benefits. You can't just say, you know what, I'm gonna go to Sam's Club and I'm gonna buy those coconuts in bulk. I like those coconut fruit and the coconut water. I'm gonna get them in bulk. Now you can go in there and you can go to the door. And if the person ain't paying attention, you slide in there. And you got a problem when it's time to leave, though. When you get ready to purchase that and they say, where your card at? You need a card? Yeah, you don't belong. Yeah, you have to be a member. So see, we get along a long way without that baptism, but sooner or later, we're going to hit a line where we're going to get that question. Well, wait a minute. What? I looked on the list. I didn't see your name. What do you mean? Explain to me about your baptism. Well, I got baptized in Jesus' name. Oh, well, that's why your name ain't on this list. No, so you had to be baptized in Yeshua's name. So we have certain leeways. He know who is where, how difficult. Now, we just don't go somewhere and get baptized just because, you know, hey, there's some people down the street. You may be really getting baptized in somebody else's death. So he knows the difference between those that have the desire but not the ability. He knows the difference in that. So we have to consider it does mean something. So then when we do get to dealing with various aspects, then here comes the Spirit. And the Spirit helps with that thing, not everything. See, we think we're going to take the Spirit home. The Spirit in there while we're watching the game. The Spirit telling you, look, man, don't bet on the Colts. All right? Trying to tell you. Go with the Steelers. Man, the Spirit ain't there for you to bet. Go ahead, bro.
You know, Elder, so the pouring out of the Spirit, all these gifts that we just read about comes from the Spirit. And the pouring out of the Spirit comes with the baptism. So how can you ever gain any of these if you've got an organization that's completely speaking against baptism?
You can't. So that means whatever help you getting, it ain't coming from Yahweh. I don't care how big your organization grow. I don't care how many people you can get to march outside and y'all got little nice little chants. You can do all that. Hey, man, that's nice. That's nice. Your daddy taught you some nice chants. Congratulations. But if you ain't baptized in this, hey, man, you just practice. Go ahead.
Whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one spirit. For the body is not one member, but many. If the foot shall say, because I'm not the hand, I'm not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? And if the ear shall say, because I'm not the eye, I'm not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling? But now has Elohim set the members, every one of them, in the body, as it has pleased him. Excuse me. And if they were all one member, where were the body? But now are there many members, yet but one body. And the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of you, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. No, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary. And those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor. And our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness.
All right, let's go to Mark chapter 16 because, because of this subject of the baptism, and it's interesting that when you mention that about a whole organization that does not do baptism. Once again, what did I say before? You have individuals that will take the law and they turn it into something else. So then now the baptism didn't go away. What they did was change it and said, you're baptized by the word. So now they say that they somehow when they read, a rush of water comes and covers them. You know what I'm saying? They read it and then it's whoosh. I don't know. I done read a lot, and that has never happened to me. I've never, even if I read in a house with no heating in there, I never had that rush of water. But let's read Mark 16 and start that at verse 14.
Afterward, he appeared unto the 11 as they sat at meat, and upbraided them with their unbelief and hardness of heart, because they believed not them which had seen him after he was risen. And he said unto them, Go you into all the world, and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believes and is baptized shall be saved.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Now, Yahshua, this is Yahshua talking. Yahshua got baptized in water. Now, sometimes, man, we be scared to call a spade a spade. Now, Yahshua is... It says the word became flesh. They say they baptized in the word. Well, then you should be baptized in Yahshua. Because he is the word. But somehow we believe or we have been taught that you can read the words and then you baptize. What? Well, wait a minute. So when the devil read this, the devil then becomes baptized in Yahshua Because he can read. It sounds stupid when you say it out loud, don't it? It really sounds stupid. So a bona fide demon. I mean, they done kill people. They done did, but because they can read, and they read these words, now they're baptized in the name of Yahshua because they read it. Right.
When he went to Yohanan, and Yohanan tried to speak against his baptism in a negative way, but saying, "You come to me, I need to be."
Right.
Said, nah, man, hey, this is how we fulfill all righteousness.
It must needs be done. So we can't bypass this.
Mm-hmm. But
So if the son of Elohim can't bypass the baptism, you think you can because you got on a nice fancy outfit from Party City?
The word couldn't bypass.
No, the word couldn't bypass. If he is the word, why he ain't baptized himself? Why he didn't say his own word and he was baptized? Because he said his own word. It does not make sense. But these are carefully crafted mechanisms to keep us separated from our Elohim. All the while believing that we're justified and we're marching down the street completely separated from our God. You have to wonder, why is it that no one bothers these people? Because they're looking. There goes a whole bunch of people separated from their Elohim and have no idea. He's not looking at your clothing and say, okay, you dressed the part, come on in. He said he was looking at the heart. Go ahead.
For he that believes not shall be damned.
He that believes not shall be damned. Wait a minute. He says, he that believes and is baptized shall be saved. How do you know he believed? Oh, because he made the step. Okay, but he that believes not shall be damned. Now, but what about, they have on all these outfits, they doing all of these things. Yeah. But they didn't do the thing that belief does. A whole lot of people say they like something, but they don't do those things. Thereby, you conclude you don't believe. Let's go to Exodus chapter 2. Now, this is still dealing with being trained as a priest. So start at verse 1.
Exodus chapter 2 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took to wife a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him, that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months.
So they in captivity, but they still marrying in between the same tribe. So a man of Levi married a daughter of Levi. Interesting. Go ahead.
And when she could no longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off, to know what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and, behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him, and said, This is one of the Hebrews' children. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, Shall I go and call you a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for you? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, Take this child away and nurse it for me, and I'll give you your wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moshe. And she said, Because I drew him out of the water.
Now, you have to look at some things within the context of of your question. Now, a lot of times when we look at something, we look at it one way and that's it. Now, the question is about, you will always need a teacher. You're not sure if you would be a priest. See, this may not seem like priest training for you, but he just made him an orphan, if you will. This is his priesthood training. He don't know it yet. See, there's some training that we get, and we waiting to get an official title that we training. And the training been started. You just didn't know it. Keep reading.
And it came to pass in those days, when Moshe was grown, that he went out unto his brethren, and looked on their burdens. And he spied an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew, one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand.
Oh, man, this is just not good right here. Go ahead.
And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, Wherefore smite you your fellow? And he said, Who made you a prince and a judge over us? Intend you to kill me as you killed the Egyptian? And Moshe feared and said, Surely this thing is known.
Mm-hmm.
Now when Pharaoh...
So now Yahweh done out of this business. Now here it is, he done got a little bit too much compassion. It done went out, and now he think he gonna save his one of his brothers, and boom, it go wrong. And now Yahweh just took his business and just threw it right there on the floor. Go ahead.
Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moshe. But Moshe fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters.
Okay, now, you want to know how to get trained in the priesthood. So now he done wrong. He done got kicked out. He got to go. He's a fugitive. And he ran into one of the priest's daughters. All right, training going on right now. Depending on how you read it. Go ahead.
And they came and drew water, and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moshe stood up and helped them, and watered their flock. And when they came to Lael, their father, he said, How is it that you're come so soon today? And they said, An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, And where is he? Why is it that you haven't left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread. And Moshe was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moshe Zipporah, his daughter.
Now, he just married a priest's daughter. Keep reading.
And she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom. For he said, I've been a stranger in a strange land.
All right. So, what did Yahweh do? Forced him to go out and learn from another priest. See, your training may not be what you think it is. You may think you're doing one thing, and you actually training for something else. See, he's training you in levels. You may get a job, and the job is training you. Because there's so many aspects to that job, not just staying in the book all day. You got to deal with people. And dealing with people is way more difficult than staying in this book. See, the one thing about this book, when I read this and I go to verse 22, and it says, and she bare him a son. All right? When I come back 3 weeks from now, it's going to say, and she bare him a son. You know what I'm going to tell you about people? 3 weeks, I'm going to go to them, and they're going to tell me something totally different than what they told me 3 weeks ago. Now, that's going to your training. That's what you're going to need to be trained on. Go to Exodus chapter 18.
When you look at even the whole setup, he's from Levi, which is the priest. And then he sent him where he ended up marrying the daughter of a priest. So even though they might not be the same, she still knows something about being priestly,
right?
Being raised up in
that
household.
He didn't send him to the town of Alabat and tell him to get you a she-bat. Right, right. Okay.
Exodus what?
So let's go. Let's see. Read verse 14 from.
And that's Exodus 18.
Yeah.
And when Moshe's father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, "What is this thing that you do to the people? Why sit you yourself alone, and all the people stand by you from morning unto even?" And Moshe said unto his father-in-law, "Because the people come unto me to inquire of Elohim. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another. And I do make them know the statutes of Elohim and his laws." And Moshe's father-in-law said unto him, "The thing that you do is not good. You will surely wear away, both you and this people that is with you. For this thing is too heavy for you. You are not able to perform it yourself alone."
Now, here is a man who was a priest in his town dealing with whatever that is he dealing with. But wait a minute. Learning the order of dealing with people, he said, you going to wear away and his people. Now, it's interesting. If he's the one being overwhelmed, why would the people wear away? Because eventually they're going to have a problem with him. Now, this man is him. Now, this man ain't there. We don't know nothing about whether he's dealing with anything, dealing with Yahweh or not. Okay? But I tell you what, he learned, look, your structure going to cause you to wear away. Go ahead.
Hearken now unto my voice. I'll give you counsel, and Elohim shall be with you. Be you for the people to Elohim word, that you may bring the causes unto Elohim. And you shall teach them ordinances and laws, and shall show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, you shall provide out of all the people able men, such as fear Elohim, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them, to be rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s and rulers of 10s.
He just gave him structure. Go ahead.
And let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto you, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for yourself, and they shall bear the burden with you. If you shall do this thing, and Elohim command you so, then you shall be able to endure, and all this people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moshe hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he had said. And Moshe chose able men out of Israel, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. And they judged the people at all seasons. The hard causes they brought unto Moshe, but every small matter they judged themselves. And Moshe let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land.
All right. So then we see that there was some wisdom in how this man operated. And Yahweh sent him right to this man. Then that also means that this daughter of his was raised a certain way. Yahweh basically told him, look, man, I'm going to teach you. I got a good church girl for you. I'm trying to tell you, boy, there's a good woman, good, clean, and wholesome. The woman been in the church. You're going to go up to this woman, not the church that you used to, but I'm trying to tell you, it's a good woman. He know where he let him. And then had this man teach him. So he takes all of this, and then he's able to deal with Yahweh's word better. Go ahead.
You know, it's like you saying the structure. You just mentioned we don't know what he was about, but what he put forth to Moshe then gives you an idea. He said, men that fear Elohim.
Right.
Men of truth.
You got it.
Men hating covetousness. So that kind of, these things then should be instilled in the daughter as well.
You got it. So there's certain parts of us and our training that we won't even see. There are parts of your training that you fail and you're angry with yourself, but it was designed for you to fail. You talking about Moshe? Moshe couldn't stay there. He's mad at himself that he jumped in his feelings, and he did something that got him exiled. But this is what was going to lead to the next level of his teaching. There's a man that you just ain't going to go and meet on your own. You're going to have to be forced to be there. Because when you got all your pomp and circumstance, you easily say, man, I ain't going out there sitting by no well helping nobody feed no animal. I got a chariot. So sometimes he had to bring you down a little bit so he can bring you up. So just let that, sink in, that sometimes that training is a little different than what we think it is. Excuse me. Now, we had another question that's a little in-depth. According to the 1611 KJV Bible, in what sequence do these prophetic events occur? Jacob's trouble, the two witnesses, the second Exodus, Armageddon, and the 1,000-year millennial reign. There's a lot going on right there. But let's go to Jeremiah 30. And we'll see if we can graze upon that. Jeremiah 30, let's start at verse 1.
The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Thus speak Yahweh Elohim of Israel, saying, Write you all the words that I have spoken unto you in a book.
Now, the first thing you have to deal with is you're dealing with, in a lot of cases, different explanations of a like event or the same event. Or you're dealing with bits and pieces, because you're going to have one generation that may be told this, another generation is told that, and you start putting those things together and you find out, no, this is dealing with the same event. You're just dealing with, okay, whether this one comes first or that one comes first. We have to take all of that with a grain of salt, because we have to understand something. Yahweh don't want you to know everything. Even though he gave us the book, understand, there are some things that he has reserved. Keep in mind, when reading these prophecies, what was it, Daniel? He said, don't write that down. What do you mean? Now, as deep as the stuff that Daniel said, you have to consider something. You mean tell me it was something so deep, he said don't? Man, you understand how deep the stuff is that Daniel was saying? And he told Daniel, don't write that. Don't write that. That is scary in itself. Go ahead.
For lo, the days come, says Yahweh, that I'll bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Yehudah.
All right, bring again means to bring to an end, cause to cease. Go ahead.
Says Yahweh, and I'll cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. These are the words that Yahweh spake concerning Israel and concerning Yehudah.
So, the true children of Israel, before they return to Israel, the Holy Land, they're supposed to be coming out of captivity somewhere. Now, we have to ask ourselves, is that what happened in the Holy Land? Okay, go ahead.
For thus says Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask you now, and see whether a man does travail with child. Whether do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it.
Understand, Jacob's trouble is also Jacob's redemption. Things are always going to get worse before they get better. And we one of those people, we take off when it get worse. We take off. Now, everybody want to eat the cake. But when it get hot in the kitchen, you know what, I can't stand this, I'm out of the kitchen. Now, when the cake come out, now you got all these people, well, you think I can have a piece of, wait a minute. When we were putting this together, you said it got too hot in here, you had to go. Jacob's time of trouble is ultimately going to be that part that he says in verse 3, for lo, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will bring again their captivity. And I will cause them to return to their land that I gave to their fathers. Wait a minute. The same thing that'll make a knuckle laugh is the same thing that'll make a knuckle cry. Understand that time of trouble, it is going to turn into a beautiful thing. But this is why it says, woe to him that seeks the day of Yahweh. Because on one hand, we say, yeah, let's bring it. And then on the other hand, we be like, wait a minute, there ain't going to be no cable TV. We say bring it. Until we find out the PlayStation ain't going to work. Nah, it ain't going to work either. Go ahead.
For it shall come to pass in that day, says Yahweh of hosts, that I'll break his yoke from off your neck, and will burst your bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him.
Right. Strangers have been serving themselves of us. See? That prison labor makes all kind of products, things that these companies wouldn't hire us free. Because they said, look, all I got to do is keep these hard times on you. Eventually, you're going to make a bad move. You're going to then get into that system, and then I'm going to be able to get you to do this for 25 cents, not $25 an hour. Go ahead.
But they shall serve Yahweh their Elohim, and Dawid their king, whom I will raise up unto them.
Now, this is the vast area of what he's covering. So a lot of times when you're dealing with prophecy, you're dealing with, well, they decide which area or block of time that they're going to be dealing with. But there, in some cases, he's giving a very broad description, and there's a lot of space in there. Go ahead.
Therefore fear you not, O my servant Jacob, says Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for, lo, I will save you from afar, and your seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with you, says Yahweh, to save you. Though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered you, yet will I not make a full end of you, but I will correct you in measure, and will not leave you altogether unpunished. For thus says Yahweh, your bruise is incurable, and your wound is grievous. There's none to plead your cause, that you may be bound up. You have no healing medicines. All your lovers have forgotten you. They seek you not.
Right. All of these people that we put all our time into, we went to school, we joined this organization, we did all of that. He's saying none of that gonna help you. This is definitely a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. But he's got to get our attention. As long as we have all the pomp and circumstance, it's going to be very difficult for us to listen. Go ahead.
For I have wounded you with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of your lawlessness, because your sins were increased. Why crieth you for your affliction? Your sorrow is incurable for the multitude of your lawlessness, because your sins were increased. I have done these things unto you. Therefore, all they that devour you shall be devoured, and all your adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil you shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon you will I give for a prey.
All right. So if this was if we look at this scenario, if this was the people in the land versus where they came from, Germany, Germany should be in pure captivity right now. But they're a superpower. They're actually paying money to these people. If the two people or groups of people are this, one of them should be lifted up, and the one where they came from should be in dire straits. That's not happening. Go ahead.
For I'll restore health unto you, and I'll heal you of your wounds, says Yahweh, because they called you an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeks after. Thus says Yahweh, Behold, I'll bring again the captivity of Jacob's tent.
Here we go again. He's going to cause the captivity to cease. And a lot of times what our people say, well, we're not in slavery anymore. Understand the difference between slavery and captivity. Captivity, you were never released to go back to your homeland. See, we try to put that together. We think, we automatically think slavery. No. When a servant is done with their servitude, they are to be returned to their possession. That never happened to us. So we don't see that we're still in captivity because we don't see the chains. Go ahead.
Earlier we read, he said, and I'll break your bonds.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that interesting because we don't realize that's what those birth certificates are.
Uh-huh. Most definitely.
And have mercy on his dwelling places.
And they sell those bonds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They're traded. All those numbers we see on the finance channel, all of these commodities that they selling. Pay attention. You might see your name go across there. Somebody just purchased you. But see, they purchase in bulk. Go ahead.
And the city shall be built upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry. And I'll multiply them, and they shall not be few. I'll also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me. And I'll punish all that oppress them.
Uh-huh.
And their nobles shall be of themselves.
Wait a minute. Their nobles shall be of themselves. We won't be walking around talking about we're going to elect somebody. We were so happy to have anybody with dark skin. We said, Obama's our man. And he got right up there and said, my people were not the descendants of slaves. He just said, I am not y'all. I don't know what we heard, but he said right off the rip. And what did he do? He didn't pass nothing to help us. Now, we wondered why he was so good on that LGBTQ RTSV law. Now, some other things are starting to come out. Maybe that's why that was what he changed. He was very adamant about getting that going. But he didn't do nothing for so-called black people. Go ahead.
And their governor shall proceed from the midst of them.
Uh-huh.
And I'll cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engage his heart to approach unto me? Says Yahweh. And you shall be my people, and I'll be your Elohim. Behold, the whirlwind of Yahweh goes forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of Yahweh shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days, you shall consider it.
All right, so we're still dealing with the troubles and the restoration of the children of Israel. Now let's go to Isaiah 11. Then you start at a different point. But then you're going to encompass some of the same things. Go ahead and start that at verse 1.
And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots.
Now, he's talking about now the whole creation and setup of Yahshua. This is the starting point of this, the righteous branch. Go ahead.
And the spirit of Yahweh shall rest upon him.
The
spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and of the fear of Yahweh. And shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of Yahweh, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. And the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. And the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice's den.
All right, and that's a snake. So they're going to play with snakes. They're not going to worry about any of that. But look at where this is happening. Go ahead.
They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea. In that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Adonai shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
Now, we're talking about, again, the regathering of the children of Israel that have been scattered all across the globe. Go ahead.
Which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel.
Once again, the outcasts. You keep coming across that word. Go ahead.
And gather together the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Yehudah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Yehudah, and Yehudah shall not vex Ephraim. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the east. They shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. And Yahweh shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the seven streams, and make men go over dry shod. And there shall be an highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt.
All right. So now let's go to Revelation chapter 11. Revelation chapter 11. Let's start that at verse 1.
And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of Elohim and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months. And I'll give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees, and the 2 candlesticks standing before the Elohim of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeds out of their mouth, and devours their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have power to shut up heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues, as often as they will. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them, and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Adonai was crucified. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves.
Now, we know that that's a normal thing among the Gentiles. How often do they say a unarmed man has been shot? You ever went and seen any Gentile laying in the street for half a day without being covered? And then they got the smallest sheets so they don't cover the whole body. They're infuriating the people. So after this unarmed individual gets shot, they leave him there. The parents come down the street and see their child laying in the middle of the road. Of course, they're going to start screaming and acting out. And now it's causing the other people to act out. And they just leave them there. Claim they're doing an investigation. All these other people who get murdered, you see all these other people tried for murder. How is it that you've never seen any of those people laying in the street and you walk right past them uncovered? how is it that all of those people just so happen to look like us? They're going to do the same thing. Once you do something and it becomes a habit, they not going to know to stop doing it. They not going to know, you done did this to the wrong individuals. Go ahead.
And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Elohim entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted, and gave glory to the Elohim of heaven. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe comes quickly.
All right, so now you're talking about this judgment that has to come upon the earth. So then, and here's our clues here when it starts talking about the seventh angel. All right, so we have these woes coming, but Yahweh has to separate the children of Israel from that. So there are some things that has to happen with you as the children of Israel before he can pour all of this out on the earth. Keep reading.
And the 7 angels sounded, and there were great voices in heaven, saying, The kingdom of this world shall become the kingdoms of our Adonai, and of his Mashiach, and he shall reign forever and ever. And the 24 elders, which sat before Elohim on their seats, fell upon their faces, and worshipped Elohim, saying, We give you thanks, O El Shaddai, which art, and was, and art to come, because you have taken to you your great power, and his reign. And the nations were angry, and your wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that you should give reward unto your servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear your name, small and great, and should destroy them which destroy the earth. And the temple of Elohim was open in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament. And there were lightnings, and voices, and thunderings, and an earthquake, and great hail.
All right, keep reading.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads.
So now we're dealing with all of the nations of Babylon, of the Gentiles that are that the adversary, the devil, is using to deal with the children of Israel. So there's a vast amount of time in that part. Keep reading.
And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
Right. As soon as Yahshua was brought forth on this earth, the adversary was there to automatically cause an issue. So since the adversary can't cause that issue or was not successful, then he has to deal with the children of the woman. So now you have that same issue going on. A lot of times Yahweh is really dealing with us in ways that we don't really understand. We claim that Yahweh brought us out into the wilderness to slay our children. At the end of the day, it was the children that were brought forth, and the older ones died out. Now you really have a situation where the adversary, the devil, wants to kill the children of Israel. Sometimes we talk our own stuff up on us, and we don't know. Israel is so powerful, you can accidentally speak prophecy. Go ahead.
And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto Elohim and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of Elohim, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
All right, so verse 5, and she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto Elohim and to his throne. Yahshua said, don't touch me yet. I have not ascended up to my Father and to yours, because he needed to anoint the altar in heaven. So then you have that. There's a long space in between 5 and 6. Go ahead.
And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
All right, now, cast out is one thing. Now they have to stay. If we go back to Job, when it was time for the angels to make their appearance, they asked, from whence cometh you? He said, up and down, walking up in the earth, doing what he do. Okay, so if he can come and go, we already have this situation of a demonic presence. This is another level. This is, no, you go, but you're not coming back. Now, this is different. So then the anger level is different. Go ahead.
And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our Elohim and the power of his anointed one. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our Elohim day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great anger, because he knows that he has but a short time.
Now, wait a minute. Rejoice, you heavens, but then it says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you. Wait a minute. This is everybody time of trouble. Because he got an attitude problem because some things didn't work out. And he knew exactly who he wants to take this out on. See, we spend all of this time saying, well, it doesn't matter what he looked like. It doesn't matter. God is love. Now, the devil who ain't love, he got his eye set on one group of people. We're going to see if it matters. Go ahead.
Elder, in the past you've talked about people saying, well, why don't Yahweh just get rid of the devil? And, you've said we don't know what covenant has been made. But here it is, it's obvious he knows the covenant. Because it says when he's cast out, he knows that he has but a short time.
Right.
So something he knows about, some dealings that they have.
Man, you can't go among the temple in heaven and not have some understanding. I mean, I understand, he mentioned things about the book. Why don't you cast yourself down? For it is written. Wait a minute. Who wrote it? When you read it. Oh, the adversary understands more of this book than any of us ever could. So if we think we're going to beat him by knowledge, you got a whole nother thing coming. That ain't going to happen. You're never going to know the stuff that a person who was at the event knows. There's one thing about hearing from somebody. It's something altogether different. It was like, no, I was standing there. I was actually asking, like, why are you making that? That's different. This is why you have this serpent that said, you won't surely die. Now, how could he say that? Who put that information into this serpent to say, look, Elohim just know that you're going to be like a god yourself if you eat this. How did the serpent know? Consider there was a question asked. It said, I called you. Why were you not here? Because I was naked. Who told you you were naked? All right, so something had to tell you that you were naked because you didn't understand nakedness. All right. Well, who told the serpent all that information about that tree? So that information is there. This is why we have to be careful, because sometimes you can educate yourself right up on the lake of fire. Go ahead.
And when the dragon saw that he was cast onto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
So all them people that say it don't matter, you finna get your opportunity. Because he only wants to persecute the woman that brought forth the man-child. He wants Israel. He has his attention dead set on Israel. Go ahead.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent.
All right, so, and we've already read some other parts of that. There are bits of detail within each one of these, even when it gets down to the same part of that story. Go ahead.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
Right. It says, verse 14, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into a place where she is nourished for a time and times and a half a time from the face of the serpent. He has to hide her. But Yahweh said, you're going to return the same way you came. Now, it was long-distance ships that brought us. Now, the question is the adversary, the devil, going to try to drown the children of Israel once they get out on that water? You're talking about a whole bunch of ships. And we don't understand how many people you can put on cargo ship. They got 18-wheeler tractor trailer stacked on top of one ship. So if he then tries to flood, and this is what my elder used to say, when we get out there, he's going to try to flood us. You think about a bunch of water that look as tall as a skyscraper coming at you. But the adversary has his attention on the children of Israel. Now, how he's going to do that, we don't know. And we have to make sure that we don't get too caught up in the hows and whens, because we're looking at something academically and then we'll end up not taking care of some heart issues that we need to be dealing with. Go ahead.
And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was angry with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Elohim and have the testimony of Yahshua HaMashiach.
So with all of this, Yahweh knows that he's got to hide the children of Israel from the adversary, the devil. Even though Yahweh says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to punish you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Wait a minute. No, you don't want this right here, though. No, you don't want him head on. You don't understand what you're dealing with. Now, on that, I got to protect you. Now, I may whoop you, but he's going to try to kill you. See, it's different. It's a big difference. See, Yahweh is trying to discipline us so that we'll do right. The adversary is really trying to kill you. He's not trying to discipline you. He wants you gone. That's a totally different thing here. And sometimes we confuse the two. As soon as we get any kind of persecution, or as soon as we get something that doesn't go our way, we think, oh man, they're trying to kill me. And the whole time, Yahweh is trying to get us to change our ways. So within this is a lot of intertwined events that are going to take place to get to the point of relocating the children of Israel. Because there's one part about dealing with the children of Israel and the daughter of Babylon. There's a whole nother migration of all the people all over the world. All that ain't happening at the same time. So you got to deal with the daughter of Babylon. Like he said, I will deal with the tents of Yehuda first, so that the house of Dawid does not magnify themselves against Yehuda. So even when you talk about what's going to happen with the daughter of Babylon, that's not going to happen to all the nations at the same time. They're ready. Look, if you guys are paying attention to the news, look at some of the things that are coming out of the mouth of the leaders. There is a whole lot of war talk right now. There's a whole lot of pre-war logistics where countries are coming together and making agreements. So you can see where they might be looking at one particular entity and say, all of the power changes if that one entity is out of the way. That still does not place the need for South America, for Europe, and all of those people to push out all of the children of Israel that they have there. They're not going to be at that point yet. And that's why, we have to deal with this in bits and pieces. But that's all that we can get to tonight. Let's rise and face the east so that we can leave out with the prayer. Abba Father, Most High Covenant Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Abba Father, we thank you for giving us some form of understanding of your word. We pray, Abba Father, that you would magnify your word inside of us. And we pray, Father, that you would magnify our hearts, that we may be able to receive what you have for us. We pray, Abba Father, that you would give us a willing and obedient spirit, that we may be able to walk in the things that you reveal unto us. We also pray, Abba Father, that you would keep a hedge of protection round about us, for we watch the things that are happening among the nations, and things are really picking up. We know that we are getting closer to our redemption, but we also are getting closer to Jacob's time of trouble. But as your words say, he shall be saved out of it. And we pray, Abba Father, that you would protect us, that we will be able to see the glorious things that you have for those that love you. We ask these prayers not only for those that gather with us physically, but even those that gather by way of internet, those that gather out of a true heart to serve you in truth and in spirit. In Yeshua HaMashiach's holy and divine name we pray. Amen and hallelujah.
Amen.